Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me now. I've just switched to a different device. Yeah, there we go. All right, sorry about that, guys.
Yeah.
Well, at least we managed to give enough time for people to jump in who were perhaps running a little bit late. Yeah, and we definitely need to get back to playing music. I think I changed devices. I started streaming from a laptop instead of the phone, which meant that I couldn't play music. But anyway, here I am. So we've seen a couple of things mentioned in the chat. I'll definitely go over some of those things, give you a general recap, and then kind of share some things that are up and coming. I just want to say, I kind of agree. Maybe I don't agree with the way it was suggested, but I kind of agree with what Mist is saying, that it is getting a little bit boring to hear me come over here and almost repeat the same thing. I don't think it's quite as bad as that. And, you know, I did mention on the last conversation that the aim is to get the trust up and running and allow those guys to kind of get into their roles. And then we can kind of hopefully start seeing a lot more faster progress. And I think to be honest, we did also mention that we just require a little bit of patience from you guys while we get that set up. So a couple of things, just to reiterate. You guys have been waiting for a long time for us to get our shit together. And I think we've kind of done that now. We've kind of got people in positions who care about doing a good job. That does mean that they want to do it properly. So you're not seeing Fithos spouting out a load of promises about marketing. He's very methodically going through the process, getting information from myself and Ryan, and or mostly via me, and getting into the relevant account access and stuff like that. And when the time comes, I'm sure you're going to start to see things move on that side. Same with Frank, same with Besmark, same with Ultimo. These things are not the kind of things that happen overnight. And remember, these guys are volunteering as well. So I'm just saying this because I think that I said it last week, but for some people, maybe it's just worth repeating again. These guys are just going to take a little bit of time to get into those roles. And I'm doing my best to facilitate it. I'm on the project every single day, so I'm doing stuff, whether it's flashy changes to the UI, maybe not every day, especially the last couple of weeks, whilst I've been trying to get things set up. But yeah, things will start to change. And I kind of hope that as Frank and Ultimo and Fithos on the marketing community side start to get into their stride, you don't have to listen to my boring voice every single week. You'll have a bit more of a variety within the community so that you don't feel like you're stuck listening to kind of slow moving dev progress, because it has been slow moving when I hit my brick wall, and then since then set up the trust, and since then been helping facilitate some stuff. So hopefully now it'll start to move faster. That is for sure. We had our first alignment, me and Besmark, and I gave him access to our geared up a couple of epics, created a bunch of tickets. But Mac is on holiday at the moment, so I don't think you're going to see him in the chat today. But the point is that we've now got to a stage where on the development side, we're ready to start tackling some stuff now, and meaningful stuff. Now, there are project-wide priorities, such as timelines, which Mist keeps reminding us about. And no shade there, man. It's an important development piece, and we definitely want to get something like that pushed out. But there are also kind of like immediate priorities for me, which was obviously getting things in the right place. And we had some capacity issues on our infrastructure, and I wanted to move some stuff around in terms of our accounts, which I managed to get done over the weekend, which probably slowed down some of our trust members as well, because I think they lost access to emails for a couple of days while I did that. But that's all done now. That's all set up. We had I had a conversation yesterday just to get them on board with the new changes in terms of Mark coming in and stuff like that. And we're looking either, depending on Mark's availability after he's back from holiday, to get him on a call with them as well. For me, it's super important that Mark meets with them because, well, for a long time, quite frankly, you guys have had to trust me, bro, from me and Ryan. And I think when it's coming from people like Mark, who get direct access to the game devs, I think you guys will start to feel a little bit more trust in the process as well. Fithos as well, we're going to get him on a call with the game devs once Mark has got into it as well, because I'm keen for Fithos to get some visibility on when things will be ready. And, you know, we had a good call yesterday. We mostly went over what Mark's role is going to be and how he will communicate with them. But the upshot is the API is pretty much integrated. So we are probably going to be getting into the realm of conversations for delivery pretty soon. So at that point, I'll get Fithos on a call with them as well. So there'll be no dates from me. These will be communicated from the other team members based on how confident they are in terms of getting a campaign built around it. Or as a trust, if we decide to release a date, we will do. But I'll certainly give you updates on the development side. And from the development side, we're in a good space right now. The game devs are pretty much complete on the integration of the API, which means that the game is now communicating with our revamped backend systems, which is, for me, it's a super important milestone. And as far as I'm concerned, it was the last major milestone. So we're in the home straight when it comes to the game. Footage of working with the API. Well, I mean, working with the API, there's not going to be any differences really visually. We can certainly look at trying to get you something. And I think when Fithos gets on a call with them, maybe that's something that he can arrange with them to try and get some sneak peeks. My aim is actually to also get some kind of limited alpha release as well. But again, I want to wait until I've been able to get on a call with the relevant people involved. Okay, so like I said, we have these project-wide priorities, but a small priority from me is over the next couple of days is to get a feature request system deployed to the Gamer Center, because we did try, and it was good, by the way. I enjoyed it, but I think we might want to set up something a bit more dynamic. But I did enjoy creating goals for the project on these calls. But I think as we start to try to put people in the right place, so we've got people focused on marketing, people focused on community, and put myself back focused, what we want to do is allow for you guys to be able to make suggestions in real time and have other people vote on them. So that's what we're going to be integrating this week. And then we get back onto the main priorities, which I imagine the first thing is going to be timelines and then Elite Lotto on base chain. So in terms of, I'm just going to start answering questions that I see in the chat. If somebody wants to talk up, please feel free. If you don't want to talk up, that's fine. Just drop the questions in the chat. But I see another question from Mickey, who's saying that has there been any changes basically to the game, or is it just interacting with the web page? So it's not necessarily interacting with the web page. It's interacting with our account services and blockchain. And basically, when we released it in the past, we were using a legacy system that wasn't super efficient. It was quite taxing in terms of how we were indexing blockchain data. So we basically streamlined all that. We have a different session management system now, which is more robust, more secure as well, and a bit more modern. Now, this was actually built out from me in February. I think I completed it. It's just took too long with basically the slowdown that we had to incur when it came to the game development team's commitment. But the good thing is we're in the home stretch now, and I'm pretty happy with the place we're in. But in terms of changes to the game, it's a good area of conversation. And again, this is where your feedback will come in when we get the request system in place on the website. because you'll be able to submit feature requests, not just for the application, but also for the games. But that will be a place where you can ask for changes. Fithos and I have already spoken about some quick wins and some longer term goals for the game. And I'm super excited about those as well. And hopefully, once we get the game out and we're able to actually see how people are using it, and then Fithos has had a chance to actually work with the game development team and myself and Mark and come up with some real clear strategies in terms of improvements. And I'm pretty sure that we're going to find ourselves in a really good place with the game. But for me, my biggest kind of concern, if you like, was that we didn't have a full release of Battle Leet. We had one game released on Play Store, which is great, but we didn't have a full release of Battle Leet. And that was a huge investment from the project and obviously from the community in terms of expectation. It's a huge deal. So when I kind of stepped in, when Ryan kind of fell sick, I had a couple of big kind of goals in mind. One of them was getting coin market cap verified, which we achieved. The next one was getting Battle Leet released. So I'm not as focused as some other people in terms of feature improvements on the game right now, because the game was literally a stone's throw from being deployed. So for me, the goal was to get it delivered, and then we can improve on it, which I think is kind of what the community wanted anyway. So that's what we're aiming for. So there will be changes to the game. It's an ongoing process. The beauty of a game like this is that we can deploy updates, and we will do in C games, so it's a bit easier to kind of change things as and when we want. So anyway, there we go. And Miss, don't worry about it, dude. I'm fully aware that the timeline as it currently exists is not good enough, and that we all want a better one. So you can request it. That's fine. It's certainly not going to bother me. I think other people, if they see the same request coming in a bunch of times, that might bother them. But I tell you something: when the new request system goes live on the Gamer Center, your peers can vote on them and upvote them, so you don't have to kind of, hopefully it kind of makes it easier for you guys to stress the importance of the requests you're making, so that you don't have to repeat yourself in the chat here. Okay, so don't worry about it. You know, you're not the only one who wants to see this change. I also want to see it change, and you know, there's a lot of work already been done on it, so it will be good for me to get it out as well. But yeah, I want you guys to be able to make these requests in a more structured manner, in a way that other people can actually upvote them as well. So you don't have to be in the chat asking when's this going to be done, because you'll be able to interact with us on the center when it comes to request changes or change requests. In terms of Battle Leet, it'll come out on the PC. I don't want to put any extra burden on the game devs for porting it to mobile. We already have a mobile game. Again, that could be better, and that also needs to be full release, which I have not prioritized. So Phoenixer, I know that's something that you've been keen to get done. Apologies, but it's not something that I've prioritized, and I can only apologize. I will speak to them about it. But the main game will be PC based, and then eventually maybe in the future we can port it to mobile as well, funds permitting, time permitting, and well, depending on what we actually want to do in terms of the direction of the game. So let's get it out there. Let's get the game deployed, and then we can start looking at ways to make it better. Okay, so another thing, next week, we will continue to do the dev chats until the community team and the marketing team and comms team have had a chance to get together and align on a strategy. So we will definitely continue to do this until then. And next week, I'm hoping as well, we will have Mark available to the game devs by then, so that we can have a bit more conversation in that direction as well. But hopefully next week we're celebrating a deployment of a new feature on the Gamer Center, which is this new feature request system. So we'll have a bit more to talk about. So in the meantime, I'm just going to answer questions that you've got. Feel free, if you've got anything you want to ask, to just speak up, and I will give you the floor. But until then, I will answer what's in the chat. So Frank says, shouldn't porting be easy since the brunt of the work seems to have been done on Infected Mobile? Yeah, I imagine it wouldn't be too difficult. It wouldn't be starting from scratch. But coming from an engineering perspective, nothing is easy. But I know everything has already been done. But for me, the important thing is just to get the PC game out, right? Like, we want to get that done, because we are a stone's throw away from having it deployed for some time, and it's such a shadow behind us right now. We really need to get the game deployed, and then maybe we can talk about mobile, or there might be changes to the game that we want to prioritize once people are playing it. So yeah. So in the meantime, if you've got a fixation to play a game, download Battle the Infected, jump in. So Decubate staking. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure where we left off on that in terms of the decision within the trust. So apologies, but the solution is there. I just don't know whether we decided as a trust. I need to jump in there and check real quick if that was voted through. I assume. So apologies. There are some times when you just don't have a good enough excuse. I just have not checked in on that, and I do apologize. So let me get that kicked off right away. One moment. Okay. I just made a note in my note-taking app just to make sure that I chase this up with the trust afterwards and get it sorted. So apologies, Crypto Obsession. We will follow that up with urgency afterwards. Okay, so Frank says, some people have asked why GMR is not moving with BNB. What's your take on this? It's honestly, I think right now we are just in a different place in terms of marketing and communication. Work on developing our strategy and get out there. I think for yourself, you still don't have access to Twitter yet, actually, which I need to get you on. Also, the announcements channel, you don't have access to that. So there's those two remaining accounts. So we just need to make sure that you guys get access to that so that you can start executing. I think the email systems you guys have access to, certainly Fithos does. So I just need to make sure you guys get on with it. I give you the tools to be able to get on with it. So I think ultimately, I don't really know why we're not moving with BNB. It's just a case of being persistent on the communication side and marketing side. That's not me passing the buck. I know you guys still need some of the tools to be able to do that. And yeah, best not start. You don't have to start the Twitter wars between those two. They kind of do. So you don't need to help with that. All right. Yeah, well, GMT says that we need volume and market making is a must. There's a huge controversy in the industry about market making. There's a general feeling that market making as a practice is basically not something we should be engaging with, and that there are people who abuse it. And in fact, Decubate was helping us with market making for a long time, and they ceased operations on market making when regulatory movements were suggesting that it was going to be scrutinized a bit more closely. And they felt that even though that they were following the best practices and the law as far as they interpreted it, like things were going to move in a different direction. So they didn't want to put themselves in a position where they might be doing something that could in the future be determined to be not completely above board. So we lost our market making provider in Decubate. And after that, we kind of decided to also follow their advice and their lead and not pay for any market making services. So yeah, I know market making definitely makes the chart look healthy. It has its pros. It certainly has its cons. I'm just not sure where we stand on the regulatory front in that regard. So I personally would definitely be a little bit uneasy with it. I actually, there was a time whilst we had market making partnership with Decubate, I actually started building out a market making tool. We were going to do it ourselves so that we didn't put any additional burden on the project in terms of paying out for additional services. But once we got wind that Decubate were going to stop, I stopped developing the application because I felt like I certainly don't want to be responsible for something that might one day become illegal. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with market making. So apologies on that side, but it's kind of beyond me, that one. All right, so I think we've got a couple more minutes. I do apologize, by the way, that there's not a few more updates, but obviously we've been spending a lot of time getting processes in place, and we are in a good place now. So next week there'll be actual development news from me, and hopefully I can help Frank and Fithos get access to those additional accounts that they need. And we might also start on that side too. In fact, actually, Frank told me today got access to a bunch of media files. So it's kind of on me that they've not been able to kick off that side of things for a little minute now. So I can see Crypto Obsession is typing, so I'm going to hang fire and allow that question to come through. It looks like we've got a couple of people typing actually. So right now, you're right. You can't withdraw from staking. There's an issue on that side, which we've explained, but don't worry. There's going to be a conversation in the trust tonight to just make sure that we finalize on the agreement. I think we made the agreement, but I confess I've not checked up on that since, so that's my bad. But we have the solution. It's just ready for the funds up or funds that will go through. So the meeting with the game devs and Besmark. So okay, so Frank is asking when Mark is going to be able to get on a call with the game devs. So I had a chat with the game devs yesterday, and Mark is on holiday. So I'm waiting for Mark to get back. The game devs have been briefed on Mark's involvement, and they're waiting to meet him. So we're just waiting for Mark to get back and give us confirmation of the days he's going to be free. Hopefully it'll be this week. But if not, I imagine it will be early next week, hopefully before we talk next. So in terms of getting him on the call, there's no issues on that side of things. We're just waiting for his availability, basically. All right. So we've got probably one more minute. If anybody wants to ask a question, please feel free. Once again, apologies for the lack of actual solid development news. Next week we will have business as usual, where there'll be development updates, I'm sure. And in the meantime, I would just like to thank you all again for your patience while the trust gets going. The guys have got, I would say, 90% of the things they need to start now. There's just a few other things that I need to give them access to. And Besmark still needs to meet the game team before he can safely say that he's got up to speed on all operation side. And
I have a question for you, Mark.
I think, Mist, I will allow you just to finish that thought there, dude. I think you're typing. Yeah, exactly. Me too. It's been a minute, actually, since I've been focusing on shipping something, obviously because of the activity over the last month or so. So I'm super excited and can't wait to actually start shipping products as well. So let's get back to it. Appreciate you guys as always. Next time.
Hey, Mark.
Take it easy, and I will see you in the next one.
Mark, before you go.